Welcome to the 58th installment of Tell Em Alejandro. You know one place for sports, cars, video games, fitness. If you're a man, you're here. Mr. Alejandro, about to tell him?
What you about to tell him, Alejandro?
Breaking news. It's happened. Head coach Mike Woodson for the New York Knicks has been fired. A tough topic in the Tell Em zone.
Tell him, Alejandro!
My man's Mike Woodson, the head coach for the New York Knicks, has recently been fired. I'm upset. I'm sad by this. We all know I'm a passionate New Yorker, and I'm a big time New York Knicks fan, and this really hurt me. I like Coach Woodson, but I also feel like Coach Woodson was set up to fail from the very beginning by the owner of the Knicks, James Dolan. 4 days before the season even started, James Dolan decided to fire the general manager, and I'm like, what? 4 days before the season starts? That's a cause for concern. Red flags raising up already. Like, oh my God, this season's going to be bad. I already know it. Now, we go into the season, coming from a good season, and we don't have a very good season, and Coach Woodson gets blamed, he gets fired, and I'm looking at it like, hold on. Look at the history of coaches for the New York Knicks. Coach Woodson was the seventh coach that we've had since 2002 and 2003, and he was the most successful coach we've had in a very, very, very long time. Not to mention, that goatee of his is unbelievable. Wow, I want one. Now, some of the coaches that we've had in the past, Mike D'Antoni, very similar to Coach Woodson. Things were going good. We like D'Antoni. Yeah. Things were going bad. D'Antoni's holding us back. Fire him, fire him. Same thing with Coach Larry Brown. Everything was Gucci. Hey, everything went south. He's holding us back. Get rid of him. Same thing with Isiah Thomas and Don Chaney. You get what I'm saying. Basically, when does it become the player's fault and not the coach's fault? And a lot of people like to say, oh, well, you fire the head coach because you can't get rid of all the players. I completely disagree. Yes, you can get rid of all the players. You're the owner, James Dolan. You brought these players here. You started cutting their checks. Find a way to stop. Fix it. Because Coach Woodson, in my opinion, I would have kept him. I understand why a lot of people would have got rid of him. And I also understand partially why he was released. There's a new president for the New York Knicks, Phil Jackson, and of course he's going to want to handpick the people that he has in charge. So that portion I understand, but the blame that a lot of Knicks fans have been going on the radio and Twitter and saying about Coach Woodson, given to Coach Woodson, I don't like it. I don't like it at all, because Coach Woodson is not the complete culprit to what happened this season. I feel like if you put any good coach, for example, Doc Rivers from the Los Angeles Clippers, Gregg Popovich from the San Antonio Spurs, or even our current president who used to be a coach, Phil Jackson. If you would have put them in charge to coach this roster, they wouldn't have succeeded. You see, this roster, they were very divided with Coach Woodson entering this season. For example, at the end of the season, Tyson Chandler and Amar'e Stoudemire, they both said, well, I don't really agree with the complete philosophy that Coach Woodson has on offense and defense. Then you had some players like Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith who said, I like Coach Mike Woodson. I'm a big-time fan. If it was up to me, I would keep him. And he's like a father figure. And I feel like something's wrong already with the players. Like, if you're not on the wave, like, you got to go, son, straight up. Tyson Chandler, Amar'e Stoudemire, two players I greatly respect. And I feel like, especially Tyson Chandler, he's a champion, you know what I'm saying? But, coach says something, you got to, ride or die for him, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, this roster, by the way, for the Knicks is garbage. Like I said before, you get a good coach, put it here, they still couldn't coach this team to a championship. This roster needs work. I keep saying this, they need a point guard. You cannot structure this roster, specifically how it's built, you can't do it without a point guard. Now, the Knicks, unfortunately, are not able to go get a point guard because of their salary issues. That's also because of James Dolan just throwing money around here. Now, we can't afford the point guard that we need, and also the contracts that we have. Nobody is really willing to take it. But listen, you're going to have to find a way to make things work, because any other coach you bring in is not going to get the job done. Now that the coaching position is vacant, let me give you some candidates. First things first, Derek Fisher. He's currently playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he used to be a player for Phil Jackson. And Phil Jackson is looking at some of his former players because they know the system that he likes to run, which is the triangle offense. Now, Derek Fisher, I feel like he's a good coach for the Knicks. I also feel like he would get in the face of a star player if that star player was not playing well and needed to be spoken to accordingly. For example, if Carmelo Anthony was taking a lot of shots and he wasn't making them, Derek Fisher would be like, yo, my dude, like, fix up. Stop shooting. Pass the ball a little bit more. Play a little bit more defense. Focus on another category of the game because right now you're messing up and shooting. And there's another rumored coach, Steve Kerr, who used to play for Phil Jackson. I personally feel like Steve Kerr is not the right guy for this job. Same example that I used for Derek Fisher. I don't feel like Kerr is the type of person that would let Melo know, yo, do this, that, and the third. I feel like he would let Melo rock. And I also, even though he's never had a coaching position, and he's a smart man, I've seen him analyze basketball on TNT throughout the years, I don't feel like he's a good coach, to tell you the honest truth. I know Jason Kidd just got a head coaching job with no experience, and Jeff Hornacek for the Phoenix Suns, and those guys are from Steve Kerr's era, but I really feel like Steve Kerr is not, maybe not this job, maybe another team, not here in New York. We need a goon. Next up, Mark Jackson. He's currently coaching for the Golden State Warriors, and that organization does not want him. And I feel like the Warriors are going to lose their current playoff series versus the Clippers. I feel like after that, Mark Jackson's going to be available. I feel like Mark Jackson's the right guy for the job, even more than Derek Fisher. Mark Jackson is from New York. Mark Jackson used to play for the Knicks when I was young, Mr. Alejandro, growing up. Mark Jackson, I like his swag, and I feel like he will let players know, yo, this is how we're going to do it, this, that, and the third. I like the job he's done in Golden State. I like how he preaches defense. He's a very tough guy, and also, he used to be a preacher. Let me tell you something. I want a coach that's going to sit me down and give me that lecture that I need. I just feel like the way, similar to how people look at how Obama just speaks so good, Mark Jackson just going to speak good to the players, keep them confident, keep their morale high, and I feel like he is the right coach for the New York Knicks. I'm sorry that Coach Woodson had to get let go, but we'll see how things go for the Knicks. There you have it, folks. The tough topic in the Tell 'em Zone. We all saw it coming, and now it's finally here. Mike Woodson is fired. Now, what's next for the Knicks? Tell them in the comments. Tonight's Knicks colored bow tie is brought to you by Countess Mara. Orange and blue, Mike Woodson, this is for you. Tune in for more sports, cars, video game, fitness, and all that. Follow at Em Alejandro on Twitter to hear my immediate reaction to live sports events, or if you want to hear me cover a certain team or topic, tell them. Outro music! Hey, Mike Woodson, I hope you find a nice job. I think that you're a good coach, and I hope to see you succeed in the future. And New York Knicks, please do not rush to fill in the vacant head coaching position. Take your time, be smart. Deal with it, I'm about to take my time with my smooth moves. Yeah. Let's get it. Turn. D-E-A. 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 Ay, 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 ay.